Welcome everybody and welcome back to The Coach Approach. It's your coach Blake of the Black Baker, and today we're going to be going over a segment of Is It Clickbait, where you guys send me a video, whether it be in the comments or in my DMs on Discord, and I will take your video and we'll go over and see if it's clickbait. If you guys would like that, feel free to do it. Tell me why you think it's clickbait, and I'll go ahead and make a video about it. I'm not here to roast them. I'm not here to say their YouTube channels are bad or anything. I'm here to bring you guys the straight facts. I've been coaching for going on 8 years, and I also have been multiple times Diamond. I also am doing something this year that's new, where I'm climbing each role to Diamond. So I have a perspective on what it takes to climb from every single role, not just every single rank. So we're gonna go through how to carry in each rank and climb, and we're gonna see what actually you can use and what you actually can't use. And I'll give it a final rating at the end of how much of it's clickbait. A, it's not clickbait. F, it's totally clickbait, okay? So let's do this bad boy. If you guys like free coaching, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. 200 subscribers is gonna be a free coaching each week. If you guys like free VOD reviews, join my Discord, and every Sunday I'll do free VOD reviews. So without further ado, I don't know what this is, but let's get started. All right, so let's do this bad boy. Here we go.
One thing we can all agree on is that League of Legends is a very intricate game, whether you want to talk about champions, items, or simply just trying to understand how the game works. Many things we will talk about today are common things you may already be doing for yourself or have a general understanding of. The importance of today's video will be telling you what these things are and providing a solution on how to improve them. As they say, it's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's another to be able to use it and apply it to yourself. Instead of starting this video explaining what Iron players should focus on to climb, we're going to shift gears and discuss the fundamentals of League of Legends that every single player should actively continue to improve, whether they are a complete beginner or a LCS pro player. As stated before, if you've watched any of our videos on improvement, a lot of these things have been brought up, but we really need to highlight them because they will serve as your cornerstone to success in League.
So I already think that it's kind of clickbait. It says how to carry and climb each rank, but then he says fundamentals that everybody should know. So are you going to be telling me things that apply to each rank that will help me get to the next one? Or are you just going to tell me some stuff that I might maybe already know, or some stuff that I should already know that is probably not helping because I probably already know the concepts? So let's see. I'm curious.
Let's start off with what our analysts believe is the most important skill to master in League, which is mechanics. Breaking down mechanics into the simplest form, it's how you move your character, ability usage, and timing. Once you put all these together, it creates maximum output for any given situation to come out on top. The reason why mechanics is so important is due to the fact that you can learn anything else once you have this down. Take LCS and Academy, for example. Professional teams do not...
One thing I'll say is you're not an LCS player and you're not an Academy player. So take this with a grain of salt.
Not look for players who know what to do, but rather players that can execute regardless of the situation in the game. Once they find those players, they will only then teach them things from rotations, team play, and synergy. The real question now is, how do I improve on my mechanics? There isn't completely one answer for this, but rather a series of things you can do to improve it. Starting off with the easiest one, simply playing the game. That's it. The more League of Legends you play, the more experience and understanding you will gain.
That is true. One thing I will say is you do not want to confuse mechanics for things that you should know just by playing the champion, all right? So you might see an Irelia do a 1v9 play. Okay, there's only 5 players, AB. They can't 1v9. Shut up. You know what I'm saying. And you're like, oh my God. Oh, that's so cool. That's mechanics, but that's another version of it. The mechanics that he's talking about is exactly what it says, basic mechanics. Things you actually will just learn by playing the game. It isn't something you're going to be taught. It's basic things that you can use to climb the challenger. You don't have to be that 1v9 Irelia god to get the challenger, as long as you know the basics. And if you know what's coming before it gets to you, you already know how to play it out in your head. You don't have to be a god at pressing it at 1 second to, or less, obviously, maybe it's like a microsecond, to outplay something. If you know what's coming, you can prepare for it in your head, and as you see it in your head, you can then do it in the game. So it's a very, very big difference. So do not think because you do not have that, I can press the buttons really fast and I can outplay, I can't climb. That's totally different. This is just mechanics based on playing the champion. You will definitely learn them regardless of if you're focusing on them or not, because it's with repetition. Repetition is how you increase your mechanical play. not by just having some God-given talent. Like I said, the 1v9 status. There are a lot of players in Challenger that aren't at that level, but then there's a lot of players in Challenger that are. So there's actually, I think there's one LCS player that actually had an interview, and he was like, my mechanics are actually bad. I don't remember the name. Maybe you guys do. He's like, I don't have good mechanics. I just know what's coming before it comes, and that's how I help prepare. Exactly. Not everybody can be that level, and especially as LCS players get older, their mechanics get, you know, worse and worse in terms of reaction timing. So that I'm not saying he's saying you need those. I'm just saying don't confuse them. Okay, that's just totally just making sure you don't confuse them. Two difference.
On how to pilot each character. We brought up this term earlier in the video, but it's important to know what it means. Maximum output is how much you can do in something as small as a quick trade to a big team fight or macro play. In the mechanical sense, it's the most damage you can do. This comes down to the actual ability usage while weaving auto attacks where you can, while moving to keep up or retreat from the enemy.
I agree, 100%.
Your ultimate goal here is to ingrain the champion's ability usage into your hands and brain, so the muscle memory and fluidity is there when you need to quickly pull out the mechanics.
If you are already having the basic mechanics, as what he was just saying, you shouldn't have to pull them out because you should already be using them. As he said, the mechanics are for CSing, moving around, ability usage, blah, blah, blah. So if you already have the basic understanding on how it works, you shouldn't have to pull it out. You should already be kind of using it at all times. That's a little bit interesting, but we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
In our writer's case, Saskia is feet too because he plays Yumi with his feet. Next up, we got map awareness. Yes, the good old look at your minimap every 5 seconds or blame the support for not warding. If you play League of Legends, you've definitely heard of all these things over time. You may have heard many explanations about what this concept is, but let's take our shot at it. Map awareness is directly in the name, being aware of what's going on the map. Well, that was lame, but on a serious note, it's knowing what's going on the rift so that you can make the best decision possible.
Yes.
This could come from directly having vision and physically looking at the map to see enemies, or being berated by a ton of MIA pings when you are overextended. But a lesser known concept we want to talk about is drawing conclusions with information you know. Let's create an example. You are a top laner, you notice that both lanes leashed because they came out at the same time. You can draw the possibility that the enemy jungler will end topside and gank top or mid so you play around it.
False, because they can fake leash. So be mindful of that.
So while you don't have information on exactly where the enemy jungler is, you have a really good idea of where they will be. Even after they reset and go bot side, you can easily assume they will make a play mid or bot and ping your teammates to play around it.
Can't really assume that, but you can ping your teammates. If you think the jungler's bot side, just ping them. That doesn't mean the jungler will go for it. Junglers are meant to be really mischievous. They're meant to not really have a tell about what they're going to do next and stuff like that. There are ways where you can know specifically, like this jungler has this option, this option, this option. But knowing exactly what they're going to do is really hard because not every player is the same. They're all different. So, and not every champ is the same. They're all different. They have different pathings and stuff like that. So I do not agree with that. You do have to pay attention to where the jungler is, but don't try to assume, because I've coached a lot of students that try to assume things and then they die for it. You won't really know unless you see them for sure. As I said before, they can fake leash and you might not know which side they're starting. And then as I said before, that you don't really know what their pathing is going to be because there's a lot of players that do different pathings. So be very cautious.
This is the true map awareness we're talking about, where you know what's going on without having direct vision. With these two big points being said, make sure to keep these in mind while learning about the other tips we present.
That's why it sounds so easy. He made it seem so easy. It's not really that easy. It's going to be hard to apply. It's a skill that isn't just picked up like that. So if you're trying it and you're like, it's not working, I thought he was over there, blah, blah, blah. It's hard to do, and it's not something that you could just click on. It is something very different. You'll have to know the matchups. Even when you see like mid laners roam, top laners roam, ADCs, support, whatever, you don't really know particularly what they're going to do. You may have an idea, which is good, but you might not be sure about what they're doing. So you don't want to play like you know and then have them kind of get you killed because you thought, no. You're not going to know for sure unless you see. So be very cautious when you're coming up with those ideas of what they might be doing, and don't necessarily like shoot the gun early if you're not 100% sure, because it will mess you up.
If you're an Iron, then you're likely just starting out and played a couple ranked games to dip your foot into the water.
I agree. If you're Iron, you're new. That's it. you shouldn't really be iron unless you're new.
We're going to be honest here and say you just need more time to play to continue slowly learning how the game works.
100%.
I'll add my personal take here. When I first started playing League of Legends, it took me a couple months to reach level 30 before I could even start my first ranked game. I recently leveled up an account and noticed that I reached level 30 a lot faster, so I think it has a little bit to do with having more game time before entering solo queue. So don't feel down if you're currently new to the game and placed in iron. Just continue playing the...
Wait, so do you not play League of Legends ranked? Wait, what? Iron was just introduced this season. So is this his first? Wait, was it? I don't even know. I think it was. I think it was introduced preseason. I could be wrong. Correct me, guys, because it's fucking been a long time. But if it was this season and he just got to 30, the person doing this video isn't actually... It's scripted. That would explain a lot. Okay. That would explain a shit ton, because that didn't make no damn sense. I don't think you should be... Unless you're just an amazing god and you just started playing League. I mean, he could have got coach and stuff like that, but he did say his analyst said it, so I think it is just he's just talking.
And you will slowly find yourself climbing out.
But if not, he just basically lied to you guys if he's been playing for a while.
However, it doesn't hurt to watch ahead on this video and start to think about the other concepts we will introduce to you. If you manage to climb out of iron into...
Well, that's the second account, and then he just played another... He played it this count. I'm sorry. This is not even part of the video. I apologize. I'm curious. Shit. I'm sorry. Next one.
Bronze, you probably improved and gave yourself a pat on the back. Once you reach this stage, you will want to learn in detail how exactly to farm and trade during the laning phase. In order to work on this, load up into a practice tool game mode and place a beginner or intermediate bot on the enemy team. Pick your champion of choice and purchase your normal starting item and head bot.
Don't focus so much on trading, especially... people don't know how to trade even in platinum. Okay? Don't focus on trading. Focus on understanding how to play the game first. Trading is... Let's just say it's an advanced thing, right? You gotta learn how to ride your bike with training wheels. Trading isn't part of that training wheels. You have to learn how to play the game. You have to learn exactly how he said, how to farm, but do not add in the trading aspect until you know how to farm. Do not add in trading unless they do something to you and then you just retaliate. That's the best way you can get better at it without screwing yourself over. Because a lot of times when I coach players, I've coached a lot of players within these years. They'll be so focused on trading, they're not worried about CS. I'm like, well, coach, I don't know why my CS is so low. It's because you're constantly trading. Or coach, I don't know how I'm ganked so much or how I'm dying, blah, blah, blah. It's because you're constantly trading. Do not, I repeat, do not try to get better at trading because you're going to lose out on a whole bunch of other stuff you need to learn beforehand. Okay. You need to work on your awareness first. You can't trade if you don't know where anybody is. You need to work on CS, and you can't trade if you don't know when to properly CS. He might explain it though. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this right now. You might not even understand how champions work, and so don't do. I'm telling you right now, do not focus on trading so much. It will bite you in the ass.
Bot lane. From here, purely last hit the minions and trade with the bot. Do not kill the bot under any circumstances. Just continue farming and the minion wave will naturally push.
One thing you can do to get better at trading without like screwing yourself over is just using abilities like AoE, as is just shown, Ashe volley, or if you're like playing mid lane, it'd be like Oriana's Q. Just AoE abilities that you can CS and hit the target. But when you're dealing with auto attacks or single targeted abilities, don't really focus too much on that unless they're engaging onto you somehow, then you can retaliate. The best way to learn how to trade is just by retaliating, because you got to get the fundamentals down. Like I said, that shit is not part of training wheels.
And bounce back towards you so that you will have to learn how to farm with a big minion wave and your tower. Repeat this until 10 minutes and make a mental note on your CS and repeat the next day.
That's hard to say, because doing that shit is totally different from doing it in a real game in terms of the CS thing. I think you should just play, even if you're bronze. I think you should just play. I think if you just play, you're gonna get better at everything that he's just been talking about gradually. That way you can focus on a lot more things and you can get better at a lot of things instead of just one thing by going out your way and CSing. Learning how to CS in the practice game is good. I'm not saying don't do that, but in terms of like setting shit up like that, it should... You can do it if you want, but I wouldn't necessarily just need to do that to get better. I mean, granted, I started a long time ago and there was no practice tool, but I never was one to go into customs and just practice farming like that. You just get better at it over time.
Don't be afraid to do this once daily as a warm-up before a day of grinding rank.
As a warm-up, it's fine. If you want. Like I said, it's not necessarily not mandatory. You're not gonna get exponentially better because you do this. Like, you're still technically playing the same amount of time that you would in a real game. It's just up to you.
Don't worry, junglers, we didn't forget about you. Load up into a practice tool game and start your normal jungle item and look to solo your first camp and go from there. Path how you normally would and focus on kiting camps to minimize damage while not...
That is something I agree with. Learning how to kite a camp, learning how to kite a camp in practice is very useful.
Missing any
very useful.
Auto attack timers to maximize output. Keep a mental or physical note of your HP.
Don't worry about kiting as much though, because that shit's hard no matter what camp you're doing. This is when you're first starting. What you want to focus on is how efficient you are. You want to learn how to drag the camp up. You could say that's kiting, but there's kind of two ways. You can drag it to where you're going, or kiting it as far as you just kind of going around and kind of making it so that's not hitting you, but you're just flowing. That's hard as fuck to do, but you will get better at it gradually. What you need to focus on though is just the efficiency of how fast you're clearing, how healthy you're remaining. Kiting does keep you healthy, but remember, you'd rather just be more efficient, and then learn how to do that complicated kiting a little bit more. So like, let's say we pull the wolves up and we path here. You don't want to start pulling it back and then start pulling. It's just too much to focus on, because it doesn't really hinder you that much not knowing how to do that. I do see a lot of players that are in bronze, silver, sometimes gold, where they're pathing and they're extremely low. That's what you want to focus on. But as far as kiting a shit ton, the only camps you really got to learn how to kite is the blue buff and the red buff. Everything else you're okay with for now, because it shouldn't really matter too much. If you're a single target champion, don't do raptors. You usually don't. And if you're an AoE champion, you shouldn't really have problems with it. So it is an important concept. Not saying it's not, just saying it's not going to magically boost you. It's not going to help you carry bronze because you can kite a damn camp. Trust me, it's not really. Okay, anyway, move on.
And time when you complete your normal clear and compare the progress you make over time.
I do agree. Practice, like I said, practice it in whatever though.
Years you have reached silver and looking to take on the climb straight into gold. You understand a bit more on how to farm and trade, so you're looking to take it to the next level. This is where you're going to want to start to study what champions do, so you can know how to deal with them.
Exactly.
Either in your free time or in between queues.
That's why I said, that's exactly why I said don't do it in bronze, because you don't understand the champions. Most, like, not everybody, but most bronze players don't really understand what every single champ does. So why would you force yourself to trade to screw your game up? To then, like, it just is not worth it, man.
Start searching up champions and reading through their abilities so you have a more comprehensive understanding.
He doesn't want to say it because I think it'd be combating with his other person, but just use the Blitz app if you would like. It pretty much gives you a hint of it tells you the abilities of everybody, and then you can just hover your mouse over it and it shows like a quick little clip of it. So you can do that while in game. And it gives you the numbers and the cooldowns and whatnot. So I think like that's the best thing to kind of use is the Blitz app.
Understanding, and even go into a practice tool with those characters to test it for yourself.
I recommend that because you probably don't have all the champions. Don't buy champs just to figure out what they do. You can definitely just figure it out through watching a guide of it, or through, as I said, just going to Blitz app and just looking at the champions.
You'll be surprised how much more of a game plan you can create if you know exactly what each character does, so you can play around it and win your lane and game more cleanly. Ask yourself this: do you know what Sivir's passive does? I'll be honest, I had to Google it and realized why she would always escape my grasp in teamfights.
She has more movement speed
this
for
section
Ada.
of the guide does not take skill, but rather time and dedication to learning and building up.
So there are, I agree and disagree, okay? So what I agree with is you do need to know what they do. I disagree with knowing exactly what they do, okay? So what I mean by I agree you need to know what they do, you need to know the main things that they use to make your life hell, or the main things that they use to trade, or the main things that they use to get their advantage or to fight and stuff. So if I would have thought of a champ, let's just say Silas. That champ has a lot of shit going on, right? The main things you really need to focus on is that his W heals him, right? His E is a stun. He has a kicky dash too, but he gets a stun and he pulls him to you. And then his Q is a slow. That's it. You don't need to know anything else. And he steals your ultimate. That's all. That's it. You don't need to know, oh, well, his passive, every time he uses ability, he gets a little thing where it circles him and he gets extra. You don't need to know all that shit. You'll find that out eventually, but you need to know the main things of what they do. So don't think that I have to know that's a lot of time, a lot of fucking time, a lot of time. As people that I coach that's been playing this game for years and still don't know what every fucking champion does. It's a lot of time. You do not need to know everything about the champion. Just know their main things. As this clip shows, it shows Anivia. Well, she can wall me, she can stun me, and if I'm in her, and if I'm stunned or in her little circle zone, I'll take more damage from her E. That's it. So you don't need to know everything. And then of course, if her egg is, and of course if she dies, she can turn into an egg. But yeah, so you just watch out for her stun and her AoE ultimate, and don't get close to those. Just like I said, you don't need to know everything. It's just too much to focus on about the game that can make you get to gold and platinum and diamond without even knowing. There's people in diamond and masters, and yeah, I don't know about challenger, but there are players that are in like fucking master that just, it's like, what the fuck does that champion do? So don't feel bad.
Of what every character does. Lastly, don't forget to continue applying the fundamentals we talked about before. Getting a challenger to your coach on Pro Guides can help you solidify these concepts and climb easily.
So he's just trying to basically sell his site, which is fine. But I will say, any coach, I'm a coach too, but any coach or any friend or anything like that can give you an input on how to play better. A second pair of eyes is huge, regardless of the rank, regardless of the coach, regardless of whatever. Just because you're a higher rank does not mean you coach better. Does not mean you know more information, right? If you're a coach, no matter what fucking rank you are, if you are a certified, bona fide, badass coach, you know everything. Or at least you should. You shouldn't be grounded by the rank, because why? You study the game. As a coach, your job is to make other players better. You don't have to play. I mean, I play and other coaches play too. I'm not saying they don't. But their job is to study the game. Their job is to figure shit out for you, to make it easier on you. The rank does not fucking matter. Unless you specifically want to learn a champion of a one trick, that of a coach of like a one trick coach is fine. But if that's not your goal, you're just trying to get better, bro, get a free coaching from somebody, get a friend to look at your game, even if they're the same rank as you. Be like, what could I have done better? They'll tell you, because it only takes a second pair of eyes. That's it. And if you watch your own replay, you'll notice you do some dumb shit too. And you're like, what the fuck was I doing? That's the same thing as I said, a pair of eyes. So, like I said, he's just throwing that out there, but don't think the higher rank matters, because he's saying challenge, and then fuck no. You can get a coach that's fucking gold. Like there's players that know information. Like I said, if you're a bona fide coach and you're on sites and you're hired for shit, then you are studying the game no matter your rank you are. I recommend just getting a friend or like a free. There's people that offer free stuff, so I just recommend that too. You don't have to go spend money on a coach or get like a demo of it, because what you want is someone that you connect with. You don't want someone teaching you that's just kind of feeding you bullshit because you're getting paid for it. You want someone you can connect with. As I said, a friend will be way more honest than someone who's just trying to make it seem like they know more than you, because that's kind of their job. You know what I mean? You don't want the people that are going to look down on you because you don't know and just give you a whole bunch of shit because it's like, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm coming to you. That's why I don't know. You want the people that are trying to help you, not just give you a whole bunch of information that you really can't even do anything with.
Gold Elo. This is the stage where you feel...
Not every coach is like that. I'm just saying some coaches are like that. So when you're picking a coach, just see if you click with them, see if you vibe. And that's why I said when you're trying to just get better, starting from bronze, silver, gold, whatever, just having a friend you vibe with already, or just having maybe someone a rank higher than you vibe with already is way better than getting some random person you don't know. Okay?
More confident in your last hitting and have a base understanding of what champions do. This is where you're going to want to select 2 to 3 champions to main for your role and start specializing. You've had your fun messing around, so it's time to get to work. Lock in your characters and start researching all the meta runes and builds so that you don't end up building AD Heimerdinger. While you're at it, take this time to learn what every item in League of Legends does so you can have more flexibility when it comes to itemization in any given game.
You'll learn that as you play. You need to know what items affect your champion, right? So let's play. Let's say I main Mass G. I don't really need to fucking know what an Abysmal Mass does, right? Like, know what matters with your champion. You don't have to know what every single item does. Just know what your items are, and then from there on you can learn as you go along. Okay.
Some games you might want to purchase Quicksilver Sash because they have a lot of CC, or maybe Morellonomicon isn't cutting it on Annie, so you'd rather build Leandries and Rylai's to slow and shred those pesky tanks.
Once again, items that just benefit that champion.
Enough about builds. You want to learn how to carry your games fast and now. If it was ever a time, it's in Gold Elo, where you want to fully focus on your mechanics. We may have created a whole section on it, but this is where you can really separate yourself from your opponents. Since you've also locked in a couple champions to main, make sure to practice your combos and abilities in practice tool until you don't even have to think to do it.
I don't agree with that. You don't need to have great mechanics, as I said before. As long as you know what the fucking champion does, you're fine. I've climbed with Riven. I mean, he's showing combo. I've climbed with her just fucking play. I don't know how to. I mean, I do know how to do her combos, but best believe, majority of situations I didn't use combos in. Why? I don't give a fuck. Okay. I actually know a challenger for. He doesn't play League of Legends anymore. After he got challenger, he stopped. I actually have a podcast with him that I sent out to you guys on my Patreon, at least. So if you guys want to listen to him talk there, you can. But he's a top lane challenger player, and he was explaining, like, I asked him one day, and I was like, do these mechanics really matter, anything like that? He was like, not really. They don't really matter. There's also someone that I know called Hacks Defender. He's actually a Rioter now, but Hacks Defender said the same exact thing. He plays Lee Sin, and he was able to win his games without knowing all these mechanics and crazy ass shit, and that wasn't fucking Master. You do not need to be a 1v9 Irelia god. I cannot emphasize this. Emphasis? Emphasis. What the fuck was it? Emphasis? Why did I say emphasis? I cannot emphasize this enough, okay? You being fluid with your champion matters way more than you being a god at pressing buttons, okay? You understanding how a situation needs to roll out, you understanding what you need to do in every situation is way, way, way more important than being able to outplay anybody. I guarantee you, okay? I promise you. I promise you, boo-boo, okay?
If you can be spending your efforts elsewhere, focused on roaming or CSing instead of how to play your champion, you will outskill your opponent and fly by gold with a breeze.
Animation cancels. He's trolling.
If you guys aren't already in it, make sure to join our...
I like how he's showing Riven, because that's one of the high mechanical champions. But the Riven isn't doing anything mechanical.
If you want to join a great community to talk about your favorite item builds and make new friends along the way.
Wait, she's not... Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Hold on. Maybe she did. I gotta see this.
Outskill your opponent and fly by gold with a breeze. If you guys aren't already...
Okay, hold on. We gotta watch this, guys. Okay, so she did a Q. She did an E into another Q. She did a stunt. None of those are mechanical. It just looks like that because that skin is fucking nutty looking. It looks good. I like it. But nothing that she did was mechanical. Maybe she ulted. Wait. One more time. I'm sorry. Alright, so I took a cut, realized my tie wasn't even up all the way. I'm trolling you. I bet you guys didn't even notice it. Anyway, I think she animation canceled the ult with the Q or with the stun. But I guarantee you that shit was not difficult, because that's easy. Those are the easy things that you can do, the E ult and shit like that. Like, it animation cancels it, and those aren't difficult. That's something you should just know as Riven. Those are the basic mechanics that you'll know just by playing the champion. So yeah, and if you're looking up guides and you're locking in one champ, you should know that already. But nothing else he didn't do anything else. So that's why I find it funny, because nothing was mechanical about that at all. He just pressed buttons
along the way. Once you reach Platinum, you have a deep understanding of your main champions and want to branch out to different avenues for improvement. This is where you want to introduce a new concept called Zone of Influence. What is this big word and what does it mean? Zone of Influence is the area which any given character can impact with abilities. Let's create an example to show you. If an enemy Blitzcrank is standing in a bot lane bush and you cannot see him, you need to assume he's in the closest part of the brush to you and draw an imaginary hook line if he were to shoot it. Assuming you know Blitzcrank's hook range to heart, you now want to play anywhere outside of it or behind minions so you cannot get hit. That's challenge number 1. Once you understand this concept, you need to do it constantly in a game and draw out exactly what all 5 enemy champions can do at any given time relative to their position. Once you can draw everything out, you can always play around it and be prepared to outplay an enemy champion if they try to do anything.
You see, that's what I mean. Like, if you understand what's gonna happen, you can outplay it. That was exactly what I was saying. You don't need mechanics to do that. You just need to have understanding.
Here are a couple of bullet form pointers to help you on your journey of applying.
It's definitely something you're gonna learn anyway by playing against the champions you're laning with. So it's not something you have to go out your way to do. You're gonna have, especially when you're even in gold or silver, you should know, like, this champ can do X, Y, Z to me. Let me watch the fuck out. Like, that's something that's pretty obvious. When you're playing AD carry or when you're playing like a squishy mid laner, then you're going to have to pay more attention mid to late game because every champion should be able to one-shot you damn near. So you got to be really, really careful not to get caught out.
Zone of Influence. Constantly draw enemy max range ability uses are relative to their current position at every stage of the game. Bonus points if you include flash. During laning phase, try to walk slightly into enemies' max range to see if you can bait out their cooldowns and mana. Just make sure to still last hit and trade properly. If you're completely inside someone's zone of influence, you'll have no choice but to try to juke since you cannot escape it by simply outranging it. Are we...
Not something that's going to just inherently boost you to diamond. Let me tell you that right now. There's a lot of diamond players that don't even know a lot about, like I said, those champions, or a lot about the or a lot about the way that they go about doing something. So yeah, I definitely don't think that is something that is going to boost you to diamond. It's going to help. All this shit that he's saying is going to help, but this definitely does not correlate with what the title is.
We in Elo heaven yet? Nope. You finally made it to Diamond and want to reach the rank where you can play against pro players and streamers. Once you are here, a new concept we want to teach has a weird name, but stick with it. I call it playing in the future. You've probably started applying this, but it basically means to anticipate what the enemy is about to do in the near future.
Bruh. Okay, I can't, dude. I fucking can't. Hold on.
Last double branching out and practicing new things.
Okay, I have never ended a video this early before. Like, I've never ended mid. I can't, dude. This is an F. It's an F, dude. F mine. This shit is ridiculous. What the fuck? This is some shit you are already going to know when you're playing. It's not. He's literally telling you stuff you either know or you're going to figure out without even any help. Obviously, him telling you is probably a little bit a bonus because you don't have to figure it out. But if you haven't figured it out yet, it's because your elo don't need it. You don't need it yet. So I don't like this. I don't like this. Putting a lot of bullshit in your head that definitely isn't the reason why you're not climbing. As I said, there are concepts you're going to figure out eventually, or there are concepts you probably already know. With every season, players just get better and better and better. So if you're silver, you probably already know this shit anyway. But I don't like the way that he decides to present it. Like you don't know, or present it like this is the thing that, yeah, this is it. Fuck no. If it was that easy, you know how easy my job would be? If I could just do this shit? Man. I can't. I said I gotta give it a half. I'm kind of disappointed because none of this shit. I'm just disappointed. Anyway, I'm so disappointed. Anyway, I give it, like I said, an F, man. If you guys would like a free coaching, make sure you subscribe. 200 subscribers equal a free coaching each week. If you guys would like free VOD reviews, I do that on every Sunday. Come to my Discord. If you guys like the video, you guys would like more clickbait type of things like this, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And if you guys would like to submit your own clickbait video, whether it be from, because this one's from Pro Guides, but whether it be from Pro Guides or any other source, it doesn't have to be a professional source. And by professional, I mean like Law Guides, Pro Guides, Skill Cap, blah, 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 blah. Those are like professionals, but it could be even just a regular YouTuber. I don't mind doing it. As I said, it's not my job to bash them. I don't care what they're saying. I'm not here to roast or anything like that. Just helping you guys understand the concepts. And like I said, I'm disappointed because as someone who goes out of their way to coach you guys and help you guys get better, just seeing shit like this, making it seem like if you just get this down pack, it's disappointing because that just makes my job look like it's nothing. And it makes it like, oh, well, these are just super easy to do. It's just disappointing. Anyway, I apologize for the feels. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for approaching this like a coach. If you guys have any questions, make sure you message me. Make sure you let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to help you guys out. If you guys haven't joined my Discord, as I said before, please do so. As I said, thank you guys for approaching this like a coach.